The mirror's malevolence. I've always been intrigued by the mystique of antique mirrors. Their history and the secrets they might hold have always captivated my imagination. So when I stumbled upon an old ornate mirror at an antique shop, I couldn't resist purchasing it. The mirror's frame was a work of art, intricate carvings and faded gold leaf hinting at its former grandeur. As I hung it on my bedroom wall, I couldn't help but admire its beauty. However, as night fell, an uneasiness settled over me. The first night, I woke to a whispering sound. Disoriented, I turned on the bedside lamp and looked around. Nothing seemed out of place, and I chided myself for being so paranoid. But the whispers persisted, faint and elusive, like a ghostly echo. Each night, the whispers grew more distinct, forming sinister words that seemed to crawl under my skin. I blamed it on stress and lack of sleep, but deep down I knew something was wrong. And then I saw it. A figure in the mirror, barely perceptible, lurking in the shadows. My heart raced as I stared at the reflection. The figure's eyes gleamed with malevolence, its twisted smile sending a chill down my spine. I stepped back, stumbling over my own feet, and the figure vanished. But its presence lingered, a haunting imprint on my mind. Days turned into sleepless nights. The whispers grew louder, tormenting me with their insidious words. Shadows danced across the room, distorting reality and blurring the line between nightmare and wakefulness. The figure in the mirror became a constant presence, a silent observer of my descent into madness. I sought help, consulting experts in the paranormal and spiritual realm. They performed rituals, blessed the mirror, and even suggested removing it from my room. But nothing worked. The mirror's malevolence was unyielding, its grip on me unrelenting. As I gazed into the mirror one fateful night, the figure reached out, its ghostly hand pressing against the glass. I recoiled, my breath caught in my throat. Its voice, a cacophony of whispers, filled the room, drowning out my own cries. The figure spoke of ancient secrets, of pain and suffering, and of a hunger for souls. Terrified, I smashed the mirror, shattering the glass into 1,000 shards. The room fell silent, the whispers fading into nothingness. But the figure remained, its malevolent presence undeterred. It had become a part of me, a dark shadow that clung to my every thought. Now, I wander through life, haunted by the mirror's malevolence. Its whispers have become my constant companion, driving me to the brink of insanity. I catch glimpses of the figure in reflective surfaces, windows, puddles, and even the polished metal of kitchen appliances. I've become a true target of the mirror's malevolence, forever trapped in its twisted realm. The whispers continue, a constant reminder of the darkness that now resides within me. I am a prisoner of my own reflection, a vessel for the mirror's insatiable hunger for souls, true target of the abyss. There are some things in this world that we were never meant to uncover. Ancient, sinister knowledge that should have remained buried in the depths of history. But curiosity has a way of leading us down treacherous paths, and I unwittingly stumbled upon a secret that would haunt me for the rest of my days. It all began when I inherited an old estate from a distant relative I had never met. The estate was tucked away in a remote countryside, shrouded in an eerie fog that seemed to cling to the air. The locals spoke of curses and whispered tales of the abyss that lay beneath the estate. Ignoring their warnings, I moved into the decaying mansion. The walls seemed to sigh with age, and the rooms exuded an unsettling aura. As I explored the estate, I discovered a hidden chamber beneath the basement, a chamber adorned with symbols of an ancient, forbidden cult. My curiosity got the better of me, and I began to research the symbols and the cult they represented. What I uncovered sent shivers down my spine. A cult that had worshipped an eldritch entity known as the Abyssal Devourer, a being said to consume souls and grant unimaginable power. Night after night, I delved deeper into the mysteries of the cult, piecing together fragments of their rituals and beliefs. But with every discovery, a sense of dread gnawed at the edges of my mind. I felt as if I were being watched, as if the shadows themselves were alive and aware. One fateful night, as I stood before the hidden chamber's entrance, a voice, a chilling whisper, echoed through the air. "You are the true target," it hissed, sending a wave of terror coursing through my veins. I stumbled back, my heart racing, as the shadows seemed to coalesce into a sinister form. The figure that emerged was unlike anything I had ever seen, a twisted, grotesque being with eyes that burned like embers. Its voice was a cacophony of whispers, each one a dark secret or forgotten fear. It spoke of sacrifices, of the power of the abyssal devourer, and of my role in the cult's revival. I tried to flee, to escape the clutches of the figure and the dark knowledge it possessed, but its presence followed me like a specter. The whispers haunted my every waking moment, driving me to the brink of madness. I became consumed by paranoia, unable to trust even my own thoughts. Desperation led me to seek help from experts in the occult. They performed rituals and incantations, hoping to banish the entity that had targeted me. But the abyssal devourer's influence was unyielding, its grip on my mind growing stronger with each passing day. I could no longer distinguish reality from illusion. The walls of the mansion seemed to warp and shift, and the whispers became a constant, maddening chorus. I became a vessel for the cult's ancient desires, a pawn in a cosmic game beyond my understanding. As the days turned into endless nights, I realized the horrifying truth. I was becoming a conduit for the abyssal devourer's return. The cult's dark rituals had marked me as the vessel through which the eldritch entity would once again walk the mortal realm. Now, I am a true target, forever bound to the abyssal devourer's malevolent will. The whispers have become my constant companions, a symphony of madness that drowns out all reason. I am a puppet, a vessel, a conduit for a force beyond comprehension. My mind is a prison, my soul a sacrifice, and the abyss awaits, hungry for its return, the mirror's reflection. I always felt uneasy around that antique mirror in the corner of my bedroom. It had been passed down through generations, a relic of the past, with an eerie aura that I couldn't quite shake off. The ornate frame held an air of mystery, and I often caught glimpses of movement in the reflection that weren't there when I turned around. One night, curiosity got the better of me. I stood before the mirror, staring deep into its glass. My own reflection stared back, but something was off. The eyes seemed darker, more hollow. And then, they blinked, but I hadn't. My heart raced, and I stumbled back in shock. As I stared at the mirror, my reflection seemed to change. The edges of my image blurred, and another face emerged, contorted with anguish. My breath caught in my throat as the figure reached out, its fingers pressing against the glass. I tried to step away, but my feet were rooted in place. The figure's mouth moved, forming words I couldn't hear, but I could feel the weight of its desperation. Panic surged through me, and I closed my eyes, hoping to break the connection. When I dared to open them again, the reflection was normal, just my own face staring back. I fled the room, heart pounding, and convinced myself it was all a trick of the mind. But that night, I dreamt of the figure in the mirror, its voice echoing in my head, a haunting whisper that refused to fade. From that moment on, I couldn't escape the feeling that something had been awakened, something sinister lurking just beyond the glass. True target. The old mansion at the end of Willow Lane was always a source of fascination for me. Its decrepit charm, ivy-covered walls, and stories of ghostly apparitions held an allure that I couldn't resist. I never believed in ghosts, so when my friends Alex and Sarah suggested spending a night there, I readily agreed. The three of us arrived just before sunset, armed with flashlights, sleeping bags, and a defiant skepticism. We set up camp in the grand living room, sharing laughter and stories to drown out the unease settling in the air. As darkness deepened, the mansion seemed to come alive, shadows dancing along the walls like phantoms. As the clock struck midnight, a chill swept through the room, extinguishing the candles we'd lit. Nervous laughter turned to hushed whispers as an unsettling quiet settled in. Footsteps echoed in the corridor, growing louder with each passing moment. My heart raced, and I exchanged uneasy glances with Alex and Sarah. A figure emerged from the shadows, her form ethereal and translucent. Her eyes bore into mine, filled with sorrow and rage. She introduced herself as Eleanor Holloway, a maid who had lived in the mansion decades ago. Her voice trembled with a mixture of pain and anger as she recounted her tragic tale of betrayal and heartbreak. I listened in disbelief as Eleanor spoke of her love for the master's son, Richard, who had promised to marry her. But he abandoned her for a wealthier match, leaving her pregnant and brokenhearted. She died alone, giving birth to their child, her spirit forever bound to the mansion by her suffering. As Eleanor's words hung in the air, her presence grew stronger, and shadows twisted around her like serpents. She accused us of being the descendants of Richard, the ones who should bear the weight of his betrayal. Fear gnawed at my insides, and I wanted nothing more than to escape, to prove her wrong. Desperation fueled our search for a way to appease the vengeful spirit. We scoured the mansion's hidden passages and secret chambers, seeking a diary that contained Richard's confession. If we could find it and read it aloud, perhaps we could put Eleanor's soul to rest. Hours turned into eternity as we ventured deeper into the mansion's secrets. Our flashlights flickered, casting eerie shadows that seemed to watch us from the corners of the rooms. Finally, in a forgotten corner of the attic, we found the diary. Returning to the living room, we gathered around Eleanor's ghostly figure. With trembling hands, I opened the diary and began to read Richard's confession aloud. The room trembled, and Eleanor's form wavered as her sorrow and anger reached a fever pitch. A scream tore through the air, and the mansion's energy exploded in blinding light. When the light faded, Eleanor was gone, and the mansion was still once more. The air felt lighter, the shadows no longer whispering tales of tragedy. We emerged from the mansion at dawn, our hearts heavy with the weight of what we had witnessed. As we walked away, I couldn't shake the feeling that Eleanor's eyes had lingered on me, that her vengeful spirit had somehow sensed the guilt I carried for an unknown transgression. The horror we had faced that night, the encounter with the vengeful ghost, would forever be etched in my memory, a chilling reminder of the true target of Eleanor's wrath.